bow and arrow is among the world's oldest weapons. Nobody really knows how. Bow and arrow is highly accurate and a challenge to the skill of today's archery enthusiasts. Here, John D. Sanders, former Southern champion target archer, shows his skill by shooting a few arrows in the bullseye. It may look difficult, but almost anyone can learn to shoot like this. But hitting a small moving target, such as these rings, takes a good eye and coordination. Tom McGee tosses the rings, and Ben Pearson of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, makes it look easy. But he's practicing for something more difficult, hunting ducks with a bow and arrow. Tom kids Ben by telling him that actually he's just dropping the rings over the arrows. But Ben will have his chance to prove his skill when he goes after those ducks. These forked points that Ben will use keep the arrow from glancing off the duck and afford more shocking power. They will clip a wing or straddle the neck, thus severing the head. One afternoon during the duck season, Ben arrives at Wildacres Farm in the rice-growing country of northeastern Arkansas, ready at last to test his skill. On hand to greet him is the owner of Wildacres Farm, W.H. Claypool. During the years he has lived here, he's known many hunters, but this is the first time he's seen anyone go after ducks with a bow and arrow. There's a privately owned rest area on Wildacres Farm that's used by untold thousands of waterfowl during the migration season. At the time these pictures were made, it's estimated that there were 300,000 ducks in the area. The farm lies in the Mississippi Flyway and is used mainly by mallards, but other varieties such as blue-winged teal, shovelers, pintails, and wood ducks use it too. During the day, most of the fowls stay in this sanctuary, going out to feed at night in the rice fields. They may go as far as 20 to 30 miles to feed before returning to the rest area at dawn the next day. At one time, they went out to feed during the day, but they soon learned that it was safer at night. Rice is an excellent food for ducks, and hunters say there's no better eating than a duck that's fed on it for a while. Arkansas is one of the leading rice-producing states, so there's plenty for them to eat. The ducks seem to like the soybeans, too, that are raised as an alternate crop to rice. These sanctuaries in the rice country help keep the ducks in Arkansas during the winter months. Some, however, go on to the Louisiana and Texas marshes. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission has provided over 100,000 acres in the state for public shooting areas, and the program calls for even more ground to be set aside in the future. These ducks might look like a good target for an archer, but a true sportsman would never take advantage of a situation like this, not even with a bow and arrow. At daybreak the next morning, Ben's on his way to the flooded woods area with his bow and arrow. He pauses for a few moments to watch the ducks head back to the sanctuary from the feeding grounds. To some people, it doesn't sound too exciting to get up this early in the morning. But ask any hunter, and he'll tell you that this is part of the fun of hunting. There's something special about being out in the blind at daybreak. The whole world seems quiet and peaceful, and the brisk autumn air makes you feel good. The flooded woods areas in this part of the state are man-made and provide water for flooding the rice fields. They make fine hunting areas. After stringing an arrow to be ready for his first try at hitting a duck on the wing, Ben uses his call to bring the ducks in. He expected to do his shooting as the ducks settled into the decoys, but the ducks just didn't cooperate, so he had to shoot above the treetops, commonly known as sky busting. Here they come. There's his first shot. They're flying faster than he thought. Not enough lead on this one. Since you can see where the arrow is going on each shot, it's relatively easy to establish the proper lead with a bow and arrow. Here's more ducks. And Ben tries again. The lead's all right, but he misjudged the height. Ben tries the call again. Here comes a single. And it's a hit. Rip's ready. This is Ben's first duck with a bow and arrow. Rip, the golden retriever, is off to retrieve Ben's first duck. And judging from the way he's going, he's just as anxious to retrieve it as Ben was to shoot it. These were lucky this time, but Ben's getting the range now. They better watch out. Rip isn't used to bringing in ducks with arrows in them, and he has to be careful. Here's another one. Let's see if Ben was just lucky on that last one, or if he really has the range. It's close. Well, let's try again. And this time he has the range. This is easier than he thought. And Rip goes after the second duck of the morning. This one is easier for him since it falls in shallow water. They're staying farther away now. There's the duck call again. This may be his last chance. A miss. But he does get 3 ducks before the day is over, and Ben has shown that it can be done with the bow and arrow.